Hello, my name is Jose, and I am a comic book fan. I've been a comic book fan all of my life. I've been reading and collecting comic books for the past 25 years. My first comic book I ever read was a Spider-Man comic. I fell in love with this character before reading it. Back then, comic books were barely known to me, but after reading my first comic, I just became obsessed of reading more than one specific comic book. So over the years, I've been reading other comic books like Simpsons, Star Wars, Transformers, Ghostbusters, and many more. But I've been wondering if I'm not the only one that is obsessed with comic books. So I wanted to talk to some friends of mine that work at a comic book store and see what they know.
Oh, I got into the comic book business by reading books as a child, and then from there it went on to owning.
Well, I got into the business by showing up too often to the store, so eventually I just spoke with Ramsey, and he hired me on the spot.
Well, I got into the comic book business because the two other owners, they were intending to open up this store. So I said, you know what, I'm looking to invest in a business. I know about comics, I know about manga. The other two really didn't know about manga too heavily, so I decided to be the third member and help them with that section a little bit, while also increasing my knowledge on American comics. I believe that the very first comic that I purchased was a Gambit issue, because he was definitely my favorite X-Men when I was a child.
Yes, I was definitely a comic book fan as a kid. I read all of them, practically.
My grandmother used to bring out this carton, like it was those plastic milk cartons. Every summer I'd go stay with her. She'd bring me a whole plastic milk carton with all my uncle's X-Men comics. So ever since I was little, it's always been X-Men, Wolverine. I don't know if you can see the tattoo there. Yeah, always been a big fan of Wolverine. Just always caught my attention, just his anger and craziness.
You're gonna find this to be hilarious, but it was Sonic the Hedgehog for the out of Archie, and I stayed with that series for probably about 5-6 years. Issue of all time was Sonic number 39, when Sonic got captured and turned into Mecha Sonic, and he had to fight Mecha Knuckles.
The Marvel Comics presents the story of Weapon X. Any of those issues, actually, just that whole run by Barry Windsor Smith. If I had only one comic I could pick, that's easily the one.
My favorite issue, let me see. Any number one issue, actually. Digital is a good form of media, but print will never be dead.
I don't think that print media is dead yet. I do think that more people are going towards digital, but there's still going to be a demographic that would like to have something physical in their hands, and especially for the heavy collectors, they're going to want to have those issues. So
I think people are always going to want to physically be able to hold comics. And I mean, it might only stick around to like maybe the more expensive ones, but I mean, people are always going to want to have the physical copy in their hand. So I don't think it'll go away, but I do think that the digital media is going to probably move up a little higher than where it's definitely at right now.
I liked Iron Fist's power, so I'd rather have the power to, well, I'd rather work for it and find a way to enhance my physical techniques through the power of Chi.
Just like Wolverine, I can't help it. It's going to go back to the Wolverine thing. I would jump off of houses on purpose or whatever, get hit by cars, just because I could heal. It'd be fun. Story of Kaboom comics. I think that would be a great film. But who would play Ramsey? That's the question.
There should be a few that should be made into movies.
I do think that they should, that DC has been dropping the ball on a lot of their cinema. DC's, of course, killing it in the animated market, but they need to go back to the drawing board in order to reach the heights that Marvel has reached.
Everything is the next big thing for comic book.
I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, it kind of seems like things are going back to the older days, like kind of copying back on older fads like the old the 3D covers and stuff like that, the holographics, going back to the 90s. What I'd like to see is the amalgam thing happen again. DC and Marvel crossing over, and with as much time has passed since the last time, they can do it completely fresh and it'd be a whole new thing.
In the end, everyone will see that comic books are not just for kids, but they're for adults as well. For myself, I started reading comic books in my early teens. 20 years later, I'm still reading them, not just for the fun of it, but as a fan. You can be a fan as well. All you need to do is pick up a comic book and dive into the adventure that's presented in front of you.
And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Excelsior!